During the Super Bowl, I saw the 1 minute teaser trailer of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power Amazon Prime series. And honestly, I'm somewhat worried about it. Now, this is coming from the perspective of a Lord of the Rings normie. I have not read any of the books, I have only seen the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movies. I tried reading the Fellowship of the Ring book about 20 years ago, but I never finished it because I thought it was pretty boring, but I love the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy. I did not, however, like the Hobbit trilogy. There was way too much CGI, the action was pretty ridiculous, I couldn't connect with any of the characters, and there were a lot of unnecessary subplots. Now, this trailer is only a minute long, so I can't render a more informed judgment on it, but my first impression is that it looks way overproduced. It looks more like the Hobbit trilogy and less like the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The Lord of the Rings trilogy felt like it took place in the real world. The Shire was a real place. The Shire in The Hobbit was a CGI-enhanced abomination. It looked too artificial and fantastical. It was the same issue with the original Star Wars trilogy and the prequel trilogy. One looked like a real world, while the other looked like a Saturday morning cartoon. I thought maybe it was a trailer for the sequel to that Beowulf CG movie that came out 10 plus years ago. Obviously I'm being hyperbolic, but there is a scene where Galadriel is climbing the side of a mountain of ice, and she jumps and plunges her knife into the ice and then looks up at the camera. And that entire scene looked computer generated, even her clothes and her face. I had to rewind it a couple of times just to make sure that Galadriel wasn't a CG creation. And I'm actually still not sure that she isn't a CG model. Since so little was shown in the trailer, I can't really say much more about it. Now, the elephant in the room is that some characters are played by non-white actors. There are a lot of Tolkien purists out there who are saying that J.R.R. Tolkien gave very specific physical descriptions of these mythical races, and that some casting decisions do not match those physical descriptions. Apparently, the world of Middle-earth is supposed to take place in an ancient, forgotten time in Europe, which would explain the predominantly Caucasian casting in the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit movie trilogies. However, others are arguing that Tolkien left some of that open to interpretation. Now, I'm not going to touch this one. That's as far as I'm going to go on that issue. All I can say is that it makes more sense that everyone in the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy are white because that is how Tolkien described them, and not because Peter Jackson is just some raging racist. That's all I'm going to say about the trailer. Hopefully Amazon doesn't screw this up, and hopefully the next trailer would give us a little more information. If you saw the trailer, let me know what you thought in the comments below, and I will see you next time.